let's have a conversation tonight. Let's have a real frank heart-to-heart tonight about our state police. Because we do have state police. Now, you can love that or hate that, but we do. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is a federal police force. I'm not trying to be over the top here. The FBI has so much power to destroy lives, to end lives. If they've become a partisan organization, if they've become the enforcement arm of the Democratic Party and their interest in life is taking down you and me, well, we've got a problem on our hands. Do you remember? You remember that whole plot to kidnap and assassinate Governor RATCHET of Michigan? Do you remember that? I know you remember it because it came up in the news and it was weird. It was really weird. There was apparently this group of dudes who they were going to kidnap the governor and assassinate her, and that's really not good, right? We don't want anyone getting hurt at any time. And of course, because it made Republicans look like a bunch of violent, volatile monsters who were out there to kill and rape and pillage, the news ran with it everywhere. It was headline news all over the place. You remember that, right? Well, BuzzFeed, left-wing BuzzFeed of all news sources broke this yesterday. They went digging into it. It turns out there were FBI informants involved in that plot. Now, I know what you're thinking right now. Whew, thank goodness those FBI informants were out there. Good thing they reported it before anything bad happened, which is what I thought initially as well. But you dig into this as BuzzFeed did, and what you find out is the FBI informants weren't just there reporting to the FBI on what was happening. They were deeply, deeply, deeply involved in the planning of it, the inception of the planning of it. They were involved in it every single step of the way. Just trying to bring this home so you understand, the Federal Bureau of Investigation themselves came up with a plot to arrest and kidnap the governor of Michigan, and then, of course, busted the people who were planning to arrest or planning to assassinate the governor of Michigan, and then acted like you on the right were a bunch of dangerous, violent boogeymen. That sounds really bad. That sounds like a gigantic frame job aimed at taking down the right. That's what that sounds like to me. Also, while we're on the subject here, you remember the the January 6th, what are we going to call this, where people wandered into the Capitol? You remember that, right? This dangerous coup. And you know all these people have been locked up for a long time. I'll get to more specifics on that in a minute, but you remember the pipe bombs? Somebody has pipe bombs. They put pipe bombs, allegedly, at the RNC and the DNC. Well, that sounds pretty serious, right? I mean, we're chasing down guys who were wearing antler fur in the Capitol. Surely somebody went down for that. I mean, D.C., remember, is one of the most surveilled cities in the world with all the cameras everywhere. You know, they still haven't arrested anybody for planting those pipe bombs. It's weird. It's weird. What else is going on at the FBI? I don't know. From 2014 to 2016, FBI official had numerous unauthorized contacts with members of the media. Senior FBI officials accepted tickets from members of the media. Of course, that official retired before being contacted by the OIG. What does that mean? What does that mean in actual English? It means the Federal Bureau of Investigation swapping stories, swapping favors with the media. What do you think they're doing when they contact the media? They're leaking things. They're planting these stories for the media to run with. The media, in return, is handing out tickets and God knows what else. Starting to get the picture on what we're dealing with here, it's really, really bad. Well, I'm sure they're not just going after people on the right. Oh, you're right. They're not only going after people on the right. They're actively protecting people on the left. This Hunter Biden stuff, it's a big deal. And no, I'm not talking about the fact he walks around with a crack pipe in his mouth or knocks up strippers. I don't care about that. Hunter Biden is still financially invested with the Communist Party of China, our arch nemesis. Hunter Biden is involved in some really, really, really ugly things if you're going to believe your own eyes. Hunter Biden hasn't gone down. Hunter Biden bought a weapon illegally. You understand, I just bought a weapon this weekend, and sitting right behind the counter was a gigantic sign saying, if you lie on this application, 10 years. 10 years in prison. How many years has Hunter Biden done in prison? What are they doing? What aren't they doing? How concerned should we be? I mean, you can go to the FBI's Twitter page right now. You'll see plenty of wanted posters out there about those scary insurrectionists from January 6th. They almost took down our government. I don't see anything on there. I went looking today about Black Lives Matter murderers, Antifa murderers. This is starting to look like a really, really, really one-sided organization. This is starting to look like an organization that is the enforcement arm of the Democratic Party. And what do we do if that's true? Because you understand how bad that is, right? You understand what that means? What do we do if the federal law enforcement arm works for the other side? Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me. Thanks.